12-volt electric waste valves, and are they worth the money, and how do you choose which one to buy? That's going to be our discussion today and staying on the road. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about enjoying the RV life. And a much better way to enjoy it is calming your nerves while riding as a passenger. And then in the next stop, we're going to talk about the great state of Pennsylvania, or the exciting state. Everybody want to look at that. An RV Envy is going to be about mini split air conditioning systems. Actually, it's going to be more like questions for you because I need some answers. This is Eric Stark with the Smart RVer podcast, delivering the smarts you need to enjoy the freedom of the RV lifestyle without the fear of breaking down. Let's talk everything RV. This is episode 164, so let's dig right into it. And Alexis is here in our reconfigured studio for the afternoon. And how's Alexis today?
I'm doing very well.
Doing very well. It's good.
Had my coffee.
You had her coffee, got a bottle of vodka on the side there.
You know it.
Or whatever. Jungle juice, something. All right, well, maybe not. Alexis isn't that way.
Not today, anyway.
She keeps her bottle under the table.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, so let's see. One thing I want to talk about, and it ties in with our money-saving tips, is the wholesale warranties.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I've brought those up once or twice in our episodes, so we're doing an affiliate marketing thing with them, so we get paid when you use our link to check out their website.
Yes.
And when you sign up, not to go to their website, but sign up. So what's cool about them, though, so this one was a hard one for me to do because it's a warranty.
Right.
I hate warranties, especially add-on warranties or extended warranties when you're at the dealership and they want to sell you this warranty for, X amount of thousands of dollars. And, they tell you it covers everything under the sun. Anything breaks in your RV, they're going to fix it no matter when and where. It doesn't matter. You're covered. It's peace of mind. They talk right to your wife. And don't you want peace of mind when you leave with your RV today? And she's really, what can go wrong? Oh, everything can go wrong. This RV is going to break the moment you pull it out of here and you really need that warranty. Oh, my word, we better get it, right?
That's exactly what happens.
And not my house. We both tell them to shove it at the same time.
That's true.
But wholesale warranties is a different gig. These guys are honest. They're transparent. You can buy a warranty from anybody. It doesn't have to be from the dealership, so don't let them fool you with that. And one thing that I remember is the dealership, let's say your payment is X amount of dollars and the warranty is X amount. You're going to be paying on that warranty for the entire length of the loan. That's a lot of extra payments, a lot of extra interest. Now, the dollar amount might add up to what they quoted you, $5,000 or whatever for the warranty, but you're paying a lot of extra interest and you're paying on it after the loan or after the whole warranty's over. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Now, wholesale warranties, they get that. People want to throw it in with the financing, so they'll finance it for you. They offer financing. So if you want to make payments, no problem. But you make it for the life of the warranty, not the life of the loan. But anyways, kind of go long on this. I just wanted to mention them. And, use the link. If you go to the description in this podcast, there's a link there. Take that to their website, fill out the form, so they'll contact you. And these guys tell you everything that'll be covered on your new RV or your used RV.
Yes.
And they do cover used RVs. They go back to so many years. I don't know the exact years, but they will cover it. And they'll have the RV inspected. Now, you pay for that, but it's well worth the money because you know where you stand before you ever get into it.
That's great.
And they inspect it for everything that they're going to cover. So you might be buying a dead horse as far as an extended warranty goes. So they let you know that up front. So check that out. Go into our description of this podcast. It's also on the Smart RVer website as well. Link there. Use that. It's an affiliate, like I said. That way we get our 3 cents if you do sign up. All right. So let's move on to enjoying the RV life. This is an interesting subject. Calm your nerves is riding as a passenger.
Yeah. That's a good one.
My wife and I were going somewhere the other day, and the weather was kind of inclement and, animals and stuff. And I know she's using that imaginary brake pedal kind of it.
Oh, no. Yep.
I think that's pretty funny. So she hadn't heard this podcast yet, so maybe she needs to hear this.
It's for you, Karen.
So Alexis, as probably a passenger quite often, Probably. What points in this article stood out to you?
Well, one that really made me laugh was the second one, communicate effectively with the driver. I just like how prominent that said it. Instead of screaming at them, what are you doing? Clear communication is the key here.
Especially here when the animal's crossing the road all the time. That's not like, or look out for what?
Yes, exactly. All right, that makes sense. I like that. Discuss your preferences and concerns before the journey. Cole gets an earful every time, so he knows how I am. No, I thought that was one. And then, number 4, practice relaxation techniques. So maybe the passenger needs to just calm down a little bit. Because the driver usually is pretty good. We just get, scared. Another good thing was number 1. I know I'm going back now, but familiarize yourself with the RV. So know it before you go, because then you'll feel more comfortable, probably. Sorry, it's a major help.
That's all right.
But yeah, know what it does, how it works, how it kind of, you could even drive it. So kind of, okay, it brakes differently than a car. It does this differently. We have to turn like this. So when you're actually in the passenger seat, you don't freak out.
Right.
What do you think is a good one?
Well, I was thinking, like pulling or driving a motorhome's different because they're bigger, and sometimes you swerve a little bit. Maybe you're dodging something and you're falling asleep, whatever. You swerve a little bit. It kind of moves the motorhome a lot more than, let's say, a pickup truck.
Yeah.
So getting used to that, every time the motorhome moves is not the end of the world.
Exactly.
But by the same token, whether it's a motorhome, maybe going down a steep grade, or someone that's pulling a trailer to go down a steep grade or up a grade or a unique situation, when there's beads of sweat across the driver's forehead, it's probably not the time to say, hey, what do you think about going to, and, talking about something? How about getting to my new purse? Probably not the best time, because you're going to get an answer like, shut up, I'm trying to pay attention here,
And that would be fair.
Right. So anyway, yeah. So, sometimes that it's a long drive, having some of the stuff out on the table. I know, like, people have been married for a long time. They kind of get it. They understand each other's little things, and they work around that,
Which is good.
But, sometimes kids have their little fears and they don't know how to express it. So you got to kind of work that into it, think about it. So yeah, it makes it for a more pleasant drive, period,
Really?
Have someone either harping at you the entire time, or they're just over there cowered in their seat, irritable, So that makes a lot of sense to me. So calm your nerves when you're riding as a passenger. So go to the website, thesmartrver.com, enjoying the RV lifestyle, look for the article, calm your nerves, riding as a passenger. So you can read this while you're riding each time. It'll distract you, although you might get sick from reading it and then throw up. Then we have a whole other situation.
Now we'll talk about that, right?
Yeah, that's another one, how to clean up throw up while you're driving. All right, so now that takes us to money-saving tip number 4. We can actually call it number 5 because we talked about wholesale warranties. They're just a big, giant money-saving tip. But number 4, enjoying free activities. So, to save some of that cash that you work so hard to get. Traveling in RVs can be fun. It is an added expense. No matter how you slice it, it costs you something to go on a trip. You're buying food, which, you eat at home, but you probably buy more, different types. You maybe don't worry about the cost of it so much. It's not so much a price point for you. No, I just want this. We're going on a trip,
Right.
And, fuel, other things. You can get a flat along the way. So there's expenses involved. So it's like, what can we do to, save a few bucks while we're traveling? So, it's looking for things that are free, attractions that are free, activities that can be free. Sometimes we go to the same place because we really like it there, and there's all these activities, but all these activities can cost a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you go to Anaheim, go to Disneyland all the time, you're talking $1 million a day. But are there other things you can do that would save you some money? And those free activities. You can camp at the beach.
Yeah.
You can camp up in the mountains, dry camping with, the forest.
Right.
You can watch the animals, shoot squirrel. No, you can watch the animals do different things. You can just hike whenever. You bring bicycles, a lot of other things we talked about, you could do there. So it's looking for the things that are free. A lot of cities have tours that are free. There's museums that are free, or maybe they cost $1 to go in or $2. They're not real expensive. And some of these small museums are actually pretty cool, Public beaches, libraries. Libraries. What on earth would you go to a library for? Oh, Alexis?
I have no idea.
You got to be internet, man. They should just close down the libraries.
Oh, wow.
Parks.
It's quite the opinion.
Shut them down. Then parks, shut down half of those. The other half probably are okay. So parks you can go to, they're free. Just be cautious, Art exhibits. If you like art or exhibits, art exhibits. Splash parks. Some of those are free. So there's a lot of things. So you can look for free activities in an area, search the internet, search in free activities in such and such city, wherever you're going. There things will come up and it'll save you a few bucks. And, sometimes we spend a lot of money. We just, we're on a trip. It's okay. Then we get home and like, man, that trip was a fortune. I didn't realize how much money we spent. Especially if you're traveling a lot and don't have just this open budget, which is most people. Everybody's on a budget. So you can do these things to help save that budget and maybe travel a little bit more because you're saving some money on these trips. So we want everybody to travel more. Enjoy that RV.
Yeah.
All right. So a key takeaway from this is using free public whatevers.
Yeah.
Anything that's free, take advantage of it, and you'll make your money stretch a little bit further. Now that brings us to staying on the road. And so today we're going to talk about electric waste valves for RVs. And are they worth the money, and how do you choose the right one? Now, this is an interesting topic if you're into waste. So why would you need a waste valve? Or, we know waste valves, what their purpose is, to hold the waste in the tank. Then you put your sewer hose on there when it's time to drain it.
Yep.
You pull that handle and, all that beautiful stuff goes into the septic system somewhere, hopefully not on the ground. And, hopefully the handle doesn't pull out when you pull on it. Hopefully the handle moves. There's all these hopefuls here that it's working properly. If, the handle pulls out, the valve stuck, now you got a stuck valve with a full waste tank.
Not good.
So that could become really ugly. And we actually have a YouTube video and we've talked about how to work around that. I'll have to put the link to that video in this description as well. So there's workarounds, but it's nice not to find yourself in that position. And some valves, well, I can't say an electric waste valve is going to always stop that from happening, but it can certainly slow it down or change the course of it happening. But also, some valves are hard to get to. They're way underneath the motorhome, or they got those cheesy aluminum extension handles that Valterra makes. These things are horrible. They strip out just by looking at them. They're horrible.
They're bad.
They're always loosening up. Yeah, I have a solution for that. I got to work on that one of these days. But anyway, back to reality here. Then you have the cable valves, which Bristol and Valterra make, and they work good until they don't work good, or until the factory doesn't install it correctly because they just want to slap it in and say it has these valves and make it work, because they can get really hard to push and pull over time, or even just a bad installation. They're really hard to use. And let's face it, some of our fellow RVers have arthritic hands. It's hard to do these things. Bending over while you're pulling on something that's really hard to pull can be difficult. So that's where electric waste valves come in. And so these things, if you buy the right one, install it correctly, can be a lifesaver for time. They make life so much easier. And they can actually, help you avoid problems for many years to come if you buy the right one. And it's interesting, the right one. And so we're going to kind of go through this here. We're not going to get into all the technical nuts and bolts of these things because my mind's already made up which one's the best.
Okay.
It's the most expensive one, and it's the one that's not readily available. How do you like them out? Well,
That's kind of a downer.
It is, I know. Well, sometimes we just have to face reality.
Right.
In the world of electric drain valves or waste valves, yes, it gets ugly sometimes.
Ugly.
Such a lot of splashing.
No.
So, the first one on my list, and this list is not in the order you think. The first one is Moto Drain, and it's not the one that I would go with. It's an okay looking valve. It's made by Bristol, LaSalle Bristol, and I'm sure it works well. And it will accommodate a 3-inch valve and an 1.5-inch valve. No, it won't work with an 1.5-inch, 3-inch valve. And that's okay. Let me get that out of the way first. Having 3-inch drain valves on both sides rather than 3-inch, 1.5-inch, or 3-inch and a 2-inch, having 2 3-inch valves, especially if you can get 3-inch plumbing all the way to the gray water tank, when the tank drains, it actually creates a vortex and just sucks everything out. And Drain Master has pushed that. They're kind of the creator of that, the brains behind it. So if you can't do that, that's fine. Then then you can use an 1.5-inch valve with 2 brands, but not all 3. But I would, no matter what, just go with 2 3-inch valves. Just make it simple, And you can get adapters to do that. You can go from 1.5-inch to 3-inch. That's not a problem. But having 3-inch plumbing out of that gray water tank will make all the difference in the world. And I don't even know why they go with 1.5 inches. One of those things that probably happened somewhere, and that's just what they always do now. That's what we always do.
And to work with it.
You can tell it, the plumbing, sometimes they run 1.5 inches all the way out. Sometimes they go 1.5 inches to 3, So I guess that's a visual. Oh, it's 1.5 inches. It must be gray water. Or it's 2 inches. It must be gray water. But that's it. It's just a visual. It's black eye candy, I guess.
Yeah.
That is very good. You better retract that. It's backward.
There you go. Good job.
All right. So, Moto Drain's made by LaSalle Bristol. It's kind of a rough looking thing. It's not, it's not pretty, I guess is really it. And so that's kind of a turn off in itself. I'm sure it's a decent valve or a motor because Moto Drain, Valterra, and Barker are all add-ons. Well, Valterra, they sell theirs complete, but Barker, you use whatever valve you had and add the motor to it. So you're still stuck with an inferior valve, if you will.
Oh.
Valterra makes a good valve, so does Bristol, but they do have their problems. Which everybody who's had an RV for any length of time knows the handle breaks, you get stuck, something goes wrong, they leak, you got to replace seals. The list goes on. It's something that you see and use, and you go, I know I'm going to have to deal with this one day. Then that day comes, and it's usually when you're not ready to deal with it. So that's Moto Drain's deal. And then Valterra, they have their 3-inch, 1.5 inch complete valve. And it's basically an add-on to their valve, though. It's not a ground-up rebuild. So it's put onto their valve. And Valterra is like the brand that's out there. Bristol's the second. There's 2, basically. Camco has one. But Valterra is number 1. They've been doing this forever. Yeah, you go back in time, they're called Ananda. They're on carpet cleaning machines, other stuff. That's way back, But they've been out there, so the manufacturer been using them just like LaSalle Bristol, but not to the same degree. So their valves, the electronic portion of it was probably okay. Now, we have to think about this, though. Valterra has hundreds of items. And now they're owned by Dometic, who already had hundreds of items. Actually, we're talking thousands of items between those 2 brands. And they own Go Power. And Valterra has a habit of, making things not so good sometimes. And now if they changed any of this, if they took Valterra's formula and put Dometic's formula in there, it's not going to be a good valve. But if it stays Valterra, it will be as good as Valterra makes. They make good products and they make lame products. They're kind of like some of the other brands out there. They make good products, they make lame products. But this valve is an okay valve. It's just, there's going to be a problem with it because it's that typical Valterra valve. But if you want to go simple, they're less expensive than Drain Master. They're similar to Barker. So it's entirely what your budget is, what you want to do, maybe how you feel about it. maybe you think, Eric, you're full of it. We're just going to go with that anyways. It might be Moto Drain's going to be your flavor, you know. Moto Drain was actually kind of hard for me to find too. That's not all over the internet. That's yeah, that one's a little tough. But Barker is the next in. Now, Barker Manufacturing, they make great products. They make jacks and metal stuff and things. And everything they make is good. I like Barker. I like Valterra too. I like LaSalle Bristol. But I like everybody today. But Barker, theirs is definitely an add-on. You just put it onto a Valterra or Bristol valve. So you still got the same valve. It's just electric now.
Okay.
And so you still have that future problem of the valve failing. And the Barker motor will probably last for a long time to come. So it's kind of, you sit here and look at this, how do we choose?
Well, exactly.
It might be what will fit in the space, because that's a consideration too. You know, Barker adds quite a bit to the valve. The Valterra valve becomes bigger. The Moto Drain makes it wider. Now here's the best valve. And like I said, this might be a tough decision for some, especially if money is the issue. But if money is the issue, just go with what you think is going to be best for you and what will fit. And to even make sure it's going to fit, if you have like an underbelly, you're going to have to drop it. Don't assume, because these valves do need to be mounted certain ways. You know, you got some adjustment, but maybe not as much as you think. But now Drain Master, these guys got it figured out. Now, Drain Master's been around for, I don't know how long now, how many years. I remember meeting the owner at a trade show in California. I think it was an FMCA rally.
Wow.
And at the time, you know, we're talking, I'm listening to his story about how he came about with the valve, because he was an RVer, got tired of all the problems with valves, and he said, I'm going to make a solution to this. Now, he's an inventor type of guy, very smart, engineering mindset. You know, everything gets thought through and through and through. No stone is left unturned with the dog. Now, he's not doing so good today, but he's still involved in the company. But they haven't changed. His daughter's running the company now. It hasn't changed. The quality is still there. And their website displays that. Just the way their documents are put on a website is like no other website. Everything's named, numbered, organized, you know. You don't need to know the name of it. They'll go to our website and look at document 3702. You go there and find 3702. There you go. It's what you need. Other websites, well, you know, it's the third one down, and I think it says this, maybe it says that, and there's 5 of them that all have very similar names, so they're not sure, you know. Everything about this company is thorough. So their valve, you know, they have reports of them lasting 25 years, and that's unheard of. The only valves that last 25 years are the ones that no one touches for 25 years, you know, and then you go to using it breaks.
Yeah.
So they have a great track record. Their valves, their electric valve systems have a 5-year warranty on them. They have stainless steel parts inside of them. They have special seals that are made. They're made to work, you know, in place of Valterra or Bristol. It doesn't matter. They push the 3-inch, because they only make a 3-inch valve. And what they say about that is absolutely true. That vortex, when you drain it with a 3-inch pipe, it creates that suction, helps clean out the tank even better, rather than just kind of dribbling out. And Drain Master valves are very small. When you put it next to a Valterra Bristol valve, it's the same footprint. It's like a 1/2 inch taller. So it's going to fit in almost anywhere your 3-inch valve is with the Drain Master, because it's not a big old clunky thing added on. Now, they are more money. You know, to do 2 valves on an RV, you could be looking at $700 or more.
Wow.
With the other valves, you might be at $500 or more, you know, maybe $400. I didn't really price them out because prices are all over the board on these things. But Drain Master, they're the guys. You go to them. They're the only ones that sell their product. And they have the warranty. They have customer service. They're easy to install. In fact, you can take it to their factory and they'll install them there for you. But just be aware, they're going to put a 3-inch system in for your 1.5 inch. They replace all that. They're not going to, unless they can't for some reason, then they won't. But These guys are it. And if you had to buy a valve in 5 years or 10, well, they have a 5-year warranty, so you're covered there. But let's say you're out of their warranty period, you have to buy a valve. It's going to be a fluke. It's not going to be one of those things like, gosh, I better just get 2 since I'm doing this. You could certainly do that, but it's not going to be needed. And to be honest with you, if you had to replace a valve yourself, if you're doing this yourself and you had to replace it in 7 years and it costs you, say, I'm just going to pick this number, $300 for a valve. They're not that much, but if there's that much there, $300, do it yourself. You save at least $300 in labor, what people charge for these types of things. So you're still money ahead, if you will.
Yeah.
And their valves open and close really quick. And they have, they're designed with a magnet that tells you when the valve's open, when it's closed, if there's a problem. So you're not left in the dark. And their valves come in kits. You buy a valve, you buy a switch kit for it with different length cables, so it's plug and play. And so you just have to decide where you want the switches. They have a variety of switches too. They got ones that are waterproof, not waterproof, some that are on a panel that come together. So you have options there. And so the extra things kind of drive up the price, but you're getting quality all the way. I mean, these guys don't just stop at the valve. Everything else they sell and add on to make that valve work is high quality. So go to their website, drainmaster.com, check it out, at least look at it, put everything in the cart, see what it costs you to do your RV so you have a clear picture of it. And no, we're not being paid by Drainmaster. They just make a great product.
They do.
Sometimes I have to say that because some people, now accuse me of being sold out to the man.
Please.
Anyway, so, the takeaway from here is all the valves are good, but the best one's Drainmaster. But if you're on a budget, I would say Valterra or Barker are going to be the 2 that you'd have to choose between. Moto Drain, I think I would just leave it out there and not even consider it, unless there's something about that Moto Drain that just really works for you. But other than that, Valterra or Barker would be the ones I would go with. And Drainmaster is definitely the one. So now, as a reminder, you can go to our website and find most of the information we talk about on the podcast. And this podcast will also be on YouTube. So we're available everywhere, and keep telling people about us, spreading the word. More likes, more subscribes, more everything. Now that's going to bring us to the next section of the can't even talk today. The next section of the show, the next stop. That's the problem, is 2 sentences start out very similar.
Right.
So whoever wrote this thing for me is retarded. Well, boy. Harris, we can't take you anywhere.
Yeah.
All right. So sorry about that, people. All right. So now we're going to have Alexis talk about the exciting state of Pennsylvania.
Here we come, Pennsylvania. Well, other than it being very historically full, I guess, of history. It also has really pretty landscapes. So you got your, in the city, you've got your history and all that. You can go visit the Liberty Bell, stuff like that. Where the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution were debated. There's the Independence Hall. That's pretty cool. And then let's see, the National Constitution Center and the Benjamin Franklin Museum. That's really neat. So just a ton of history there. And then it's got a lot of natural beauty too. So if you're into that, you can do both really, as an RVer. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of a cool experience. Well, you can go to Gettysburg, where, you can journey through the Civil War. The Pocono Mountains is more on the outdoorsy side. So you can do hiking, fishing, boating, and obviously stay in your RV there. So it's a lot of beauty in Pennsylvania, actually. Look up some pictures on Google. It's beautiful. Or if you've ever been there, send us some pictures. Yeah, definitely. And we always have to talk about food. So
Right.
You get a taste of the Amish country. This is kind of cool. Lancaster County is home to the largest Amish community in the United States. So there's a lot of culture there. They make a lot of beautiful things. fresh markets, homemade bread, traditional Amish foods. So if you want to try that, that'd be the place to do it.
Forget that. What about the Willy Wonka chocolate factory?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah, the Hershey factory. That's the sweetest place on earth. So they say.
Right? Yes. Wow. You got to hit that up. The Hershey factory. If you're a chocolate lover, you have to go. There's no point not going.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Maybe don't eat sweets for a couple days. You can just splurge on it or whatever. Throw your blood sugar out the window and go for it. But that'd be worth going to just to see it. Do that for in zillion years. Well, the oldest factory or anything else came about when all these companies were being created. Hershey.
Exactly.
I mean, so many companies go way back when. Like Frito-Lay. All in the candy. So that was during the candy rush when everybody's trying to go with candy.
Well,
that you could travel and, make it someplace,
You could dip the Fritos in the chocolate. I'll be good.
There you go. I like that idea. Dipping the Fritos in the chocolate.
Everything. He's better with chocolate.
Chocolate covered Frito.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't be good. The sweet and salty.
Fritos and bean dip is better, but, I could see it. Anything's possible today, right? I mean, we're leave that one alone. We're not even going to go any further with that one. So check out Pennsylvania and go to smartrver.com under Next Stop, and there's Pennsylvania. Oh, I forgot to mention this. Our episode 166, which will come out December 20th, that's going to be over an hour long. We've got quite the thing planned for it. We're going to do a recap of the year, and it's going to be recorded on video, which is going to be hopefully the big thing that actually makes it good. Either be really good or really bad. We're not sure yet, but we're working on that. Oh, you know what? I thought we were almost done here, but we still got RVenvy. I'm jumping ahead. Oh, well, anyways, episode 166, December 20th. Remember that. You got to watch that.
Mark your calendars.
Yeah, it'll be on YouTube, so you can go there and watch it. That's probably going to be better than listening to it.
Yes.
All right, so the next thing, RVenvy. Recently, mini splits have come up in conversation around here, and it's become kind of this trend with RVers doing mini split air conditioning systems on their RVs. Now, mini splits are pretty cool. If you're not familiar with them, it's kind of a miniature air conditioning system where you have a condenser outside, which is compact. Then you have your air handler inside, which is compact. It really mounts on a wall. Some of them you can mount in the ceiling now. And they're easy to install, easy to plumb, do everything you need to do it. Now, some RVers have now been doing these in RVs. And so we've done some research, and I'm looking for somebody who's done one and knows about these that actually has found one designed for RVs. It seems like I came across one company that said theirs is RV friendly, but the company itself just didn't do it for me. They didn't seem like a quality company. It seemed like they're just churning out some junk to maybe possibly fit a market or say they're fitting that market. But an RV, bounces down the road. These air handlers have to be mounted right on the walls. They have to be mounted to studs. They got a little bit of weight to them. The condenser, they're putting them in compartments, generator compartments, strapping them onto the backs of bumpers, the front of tongues, they're coming wherever to put these things, and that's kind of an issue in itself, depending on your RV, whether you have space for one or not, and how well they work in a compartment. What can you do with that? Does the door have to stay open? Do you have to have air going into it?
Right.
Because it's got to have air. They get hot. It's pulling the heat out of the air, so to make that cold air. So it's pushing that out. So there's things to consider there. And I'm sure most of these guys that have done these installs have looked at all that, because most of them look pretty decent for what it is. But what I'm looking for is someone who actually knows about these things. And if you go to the smartrver.com, go to the contact us page or about us, and get in touch with me. Our phone number is there. You can call us, or you can email. You can do whatever you want to do. And I'd like to hear about this. I'd like to get more information so I can talk more intelligently about it, see if it's an avenue that really is worth exploring, or if this is a fringe type thing that creates more problems than it solves. And one thing I have noticed is that these things generally are put in the living room, and as far as I know, it's one air handler per condenser. So it's going to cool down let's see, the living area of the RV, but not necessarily a bedroom or anything else, bathroom and such. But maybe I'm missing something on that. Maybe you get it cold enough, it pushes that air everywhere, or you have fans to circulate it. So that's what I want to know about it. So someone, please reach out to me and let me know. Enlighten me. Make me an expert on mini split systems for RVs. I would truly appreciate that. All right, so now that brings us to the end of the show. Right, Lex?
Yeah.
I'm not missing anything else here.
You did good.
All right, so remember, go to the description of this podcast. Check it out for the links to wholesale warranties and our website and everything else. Everything else I mentioned, I already forgot. We'll go back to it, fix that up, though. All right, so next episode is going to be 165, so that'll be in 2 weeks. And after that, we got 166, the last episode of the year, highlighting the entire year. So that'll be a pretty cool episode. So we had a great show today. And I want to thank everybody for listening and sharing the show with your friends and family and so forth, fellow RVers. We truly appreciate the support we get. So this is Eric Stark with the Smart RVer podcast. It's been great hanging out with you. If I don't see you on the road, let's connect at thesmartrver.com.